With us getting a clearer and clearer idea of both what teams will likely see in the lottery and who's going to end up going there, today I want to take a look at what would happen if the draft was today. If you guys like the content, smash the like and sub button. Let's go for 4.5 likes on today's video, and let's get into this. Right now, in a pretty surprising turn of events, the Charlotte Hornets sit with the worst record in the league, and in this case, hold the #1 pick in the draft. The Hornets have had their young star LaMelo Ball for just a handful of games so far this season due to injury, leading to just 7 wins on the year. But if there's one season for everything to temporarily fall apart, it just might be this year, given who they have the chance to grab. None other than Victor Wembanyama. It's pretty clear at this point, barring some serious injury or major future injury concerns, Wembanyama will be the #1 pick in June. He's a legit 7'4". He would come into the league with the longest wingspan, and he's got a wing skill set that we've truly never seen from a player of his size. With what feels like a guarantee on both ends, he has the chance to come in and transform a franchise overnight. Joining LaMelo in the Hornets, I actually think it's one of the more intriguing scenarios we could see when it comes to Wembanyama. The second worst record, or second overall pick for this video, is going to be the Detroit Pistons, a team we can practically guarantee will be around here when it's all said and done after losing Cade Cunningham for the season. Now, this is actually a pretty weird spot for them, as really no matter who they take here, it's going to be a weird roster fit. Ultimately, they go with Scoot Henderson, with him being the clear #2 prospect in this class. For players like Wembanyama and Scoot, you draft them, and then you worry about the rest later. Now, even with that said, I don't think having him, Cade, and Ivy on the court really creates too many problems, but I'm sure it would be a conversation leading up to this season. There's really nothing to complain about in Scoot's game. He's extremely athletic. He's got a 6'9" wingspan, a solid playmaker, unstoppable attacking the basket, and quickly improving at all 3 levels. In the G League right now, he's averaging 21 points, 6 assists, and 4 rebounds on great efficiency. Everything points to him being the second overall pick in this draft right now, really regardless of who holds the selection. The third overall pick belongs to the Orlando Magic, a really interesting team going forward based on what we've seen from their young core of Franz, Paolo, and Wendell Carter, as well as other wild cards like Markelle Fultz and Bol Bol. Here, there's definitely a couple options. After the first two, you get a lot of mixed opinions, but right now, I've got them going with Arkansas shooting guard Nick Smith Jr. Nick Smith missed the start of the season due to injury, and while he had a really concerning debut, scoring a whopping 0 points on 6 shots, since then, he's looked like the top prospect we all expected, averaging 20 points, shooting 46% from the field. At 6'5", with a 6'9" wingspan, he's one of the most well-rounded scorers in the country. His combination of shooting and speed alone would make him a likely top selection in this draft. Going to the Magic, based on what we've seen from Fultz recently, I think the possibility of Fultz, Smith, Franz, Paolo, and Wendell has to be exciting for Magic fans. The fourth overall pick is being made by the San Antonio Spurs. There's a couple guys I could go with here, but given the success of their young wing duo, Keldon Johnson and Devin Vassell, I've got them going guard, getting one of the Thompson twins, Amen Thompson. It seems like he's widening the gap between his brother, but they're still both expected to be lottery selections in this draft. He's 6'7" with great length. Given his passing ability, he's got the chance to be a full-time point at the NBA level. He's a super fluid athlete that screams with long-term potential. It's hard to give much weight to his stats considering he's playing in the overtime elite league, but he is averaging 17 points, 6 rebounds, and 6 assists. The Spurs have a very long way to go in this rebuild, but I think Thompson would be a great addition. The fifth overall pick is being made by the Rockets, who go with easily the biggest riser of the season so far. That's Alabama forward Brandon Miller. Coming into the season, Miller wasn't being talked about as a lottery selection, definitely not a top 5 pick in the draft. Now, with that said, it's not like he's come out of nowhere. He was the 9th ranked player in the country coming out of high school, but he's definitely exceeded early expectations. Now, it's pretty obvious to see why he cemented himself as a top prospect in this class. He's a 6'9" long wing who is shooting lights out from 3, averaging 19 points and 8 rebounds, shooting 43% from 3 on over 7 attempts a game. Having the combination of length and shooting between Jabari Smith and Miller would be something special. Alongside Şengün and Green, I'd be super bullish on the future of this group. Obviously not in the short term, but definitely for their future. Miller is quickly becoming one of my favorite prospects in this class. The 6th overall pick belongs to the Wizards, and I think the selection is pretty clear just based on need. I say that, but their needs could change rather quickly, with both Porzingis and Kuzma likely to be free agents, but nonetheless, they go with a guy that's actually been creeping up the board, Kentucky point guard Carson Wallace. The numbers don't blow you away. He's averaging 11 points, 4 assists, and 4 rebounds, but he is shooting over 50% from the field and from 3. Easily his biggest draw, though, is his lockdown perimeter defense. I like the Wizards going this route, but it is hard to imagine whoever they go with here drastically changing their pretty sad future ahead. The 7th overall pick is actually the Oklahoma City Thunder, a team most people expected to be even higher before the start of the season, but with SGA becoming one, if not the best shooting guard in the NBA right now, it seems this is about the range they're going to be in the lottery. There's a couple guys they could go with, but I've got them grabbing Villanova power forward Cam Whitmore. Whitmore's only played 3 games so far this year, but already looks like one of the more well-rounded prospects in this class. He's averaging 16 points on great splits. I think having an extremely versatile, high-energy, above-the-rim athlete would just be the perfect fit alongside someone that's also going to be a rookie for the Thunder next season, Chet Holmgren. It's kind of crazy how well things are setting up for them going forward. There's no questions anymore about SGA being a #1 option, with other super solid pieces like Dort, Giddey, and Jalen Williams. Chet coming back, in this case, getting Whitmore, and still having a ton of future picks. The league needs to get ready. Another team that's sitting really pretty right now is a team with the 8th overall pick who's already made a selection in this draft, the Orlando Magic. This selection is actually coming from the Bulls in the Nikola Vucevic trade, a trade that might go down as one of the worst in the past decade. The Magic walked away with arguably the better center in Wendell Carter, while also getting 2 first-round picks. The first-round picks became Franz Wagner, and in this case, the other Thompson twin, Ausar Thompson. Earlier I said the Magic would be attacking guard in this draft, so I've got them doubling up. Like his brother, Thompson's a super fluid 6'7" 2 guard. The shooting's got a ways to come, but if it does, future success just might be a foregone conclusion. I think Magic fans would have to be pleased walking away with both him and Nick Smith. Then we've got the Pelicans, which might be surprising to some considering they currently have the best record in the Western Conference, but this pick is actually coming from the Lakers via the Anthony Davis trade. Now the Lakers have been on a much better stretch recently on the back of AD, so it's pretty likely this selection isn't where it is right now, but with what we've seen from this team over the last year and their consistent health concerns, it also wouldn't be all that surprising. The Pelicans don't really have a glaring hole right now, so I've got them going with one of my favorite prospects, Arkansas's Anthony Black. There's not much to not like. He's 6'7", one of the best passers in this class. He isn't a high volume guy right now. He's averaging 13 points, but he's doing it on 53-41 splits. He's a decent defender. To me, this really feels like Tyrese Halliburton or Mikal Bridges. Not as players, I'm not comparing them like that, but in the sense that he's pretty much everything you look for in a prospect, but teams will find a way to overthink it, overthink upside, and let him slip. With the 11th overall pick, the Raptors are on the clock, and they decide to go with Baylor shooting guard Keontae George. Now, George has struggled with his efficiency so far, shooting just 40% from the field and 33% from 3, but it doesn't look like that's going to stop him from being a lottery selection in this draft. George is one of the best shot creators in this class, and despite what the efficiency suggests, he's got a ton of potential beyond the perimeter. With both Gary Trent and Fred VanVleet likely to be free agents this offseason, I think this is the right selection. The 12th overall pick is being made by the Hawks, who go with Houston big Jarris Walker. Walker is physically opposing, but still an extremely versatile defender. On offense right now, he's averaging just 10 points and is far from being some high volume scorer, but does have an interesting skill set long term with his ability to blow by big defenders and use his strength to take advantage of mismatches. With the questionable future of John Collins, this feels like the right decision. With the 13th pick, we actually have the Golden State Warriors on the clock, a team I don't think anyone is expecting to be here when it's all said and done, but in the event that they were, I've got them going with another guy that's been a huge riser, Kansas wing Grady Dick. It's pretty simple. He's flat out a shot maker. Right now, the freshman is averaging 15 points, shooting a ridiculous 47% from 3 on 6 attempts a game. With the last pick of the lottery, we've got the Knicks going with South Carolina forward Gregory Gigi Jackson. He came into the year projected to be a lottery selection with how well-rounded his game is, and he really hasn't shown us anything to think otherwise. Right now, he's averaging 17 points and 7 rebounds on pretty decent split. The Knicks are a hard team to predict their direction in the draft, so I have them going with the best player available. But that's the video, guys. You guys tell me your thoughts in the comments below. If you liked the video, smash the like and sub button, and I'll catch you guys next time. Peace.